The disobedient daughter who married a skull. Once upon a time, in the peaceful and lively town of Ekondo, there lived a respected man named Efiam Eteti and his gentle wife, Mama Eka Ete. They were known all over the region for their kindness and wealth. But above all, they were known because of their only daughter, a girl so beautiful that people said the gods must have taken time to carve her face. Her name was Abasiama. Abasiama was more than beautiful. She was breathtaking. Her skin glowed like palm oil under sunlight. Her eyes shone like stars on a calm night. And when she smiled, even the birds paused their songs to listen. Her laughter was soft and sweet, like the sound of water running over smooth stones. Men could not resist her charm. Some would pretend to fetch water just to catch a glimpse of her passing. Others hid behind bushes or market stalls, whispering to each other, "See her there, the jewel of Ekondo." The first to come was the richest fisherman in all of Ekondo Coast, Okon Udo, a man whose nets never returned empty. He brought baskets overflowing with fresh fish and oysters, their silver scales glittering like treasure. Before coming, he had poured palm wine for the gods of the sea and promised to build a shrine in Abasiama's name if she became his wife. On the morning of his visit, he oiled his body with coconut oil, tied a red cloth around his head, and walked proudly to her father's house. But when he bowed and spoke of love, Abasiama only smiled faintly and turned away. Her heart did not move. Next came Etin Nsa, the wealthiest farmer in a nearby village. His barns were heavy with yams, and his fields stretched farther than the eye could see. He arrived with servants carrying roasted meat, palm wine, and cowries enough to buy a new farm. He said, "Let me plant joy in your daughter's heart." But Abasiama refused. She whispered, "He is too old, and his hands smell of the soil." Soon after came Eyo Efa, a handsome trader from across the river. He sailed in a grand canoe painted in gold, bringing coral beads, fine wrappers, and perfumes from the white men's ships. His smile was warm and his voice smooth as honey. But when he stood before Abasiama, she only sighed. "He is charming, but not the man I dream of." By then, news of her beauty had spread far and wide. Kings and princes from distant lands sent messengers with gifts and promises. Some hid behind bushes just to glimpse her when she went to fetch water. Others camped near her father's compound to watch her laughter dance through the air. Her maidens would beg her, "Abasiama, why do you keep turning them away?" But she would only brush her hair aside and smile. She said, "None of them is worthy. I will marry only the man whose face and soul are perfect, the finest among men." Even kings from far-away lands sent messengers with gifts of gold, coral beads, and horses, begging to have her hand in marriage. Every week, new suitors arrived. Strong warriors, rich traders, noble chiefs, all hoping she would smile their way. The entire region buzzed with talk about the girl no man could win. But Abasiama had a proud heart. She turned them all away. She kept refusing for 2 more years until she reached a young age of about 18. Before we dive into what happened next, don't forget to click the like button, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more powerful stories like this. Her father often sat in front of the house, shaking his head sadly, as yet another hopeful man walked away in disappointment. Her mother would plead softly, "My daughter, all these men are good and worthy. Why do you keep saying no?" But Abasiama would toss her head proudly, her eyes full of confidence, and say, "None of them are good enough for me. I will only marry the most handsome, the most perfect man, one with strength, charm, and beauty beyond all others." Her friends and handmaidens who adored her tried to reason with her. One of them, Ekaiso, would say, "Abasi, beauty alone cannot build a home. Choose a man who will love you, not just one who looks fine." Another, Mfoniso, would whisper, "The sun that shines too bright burns itself out. Be careful, my friend." But Abasiama laughed at them. She believed she was special, destined for someone greater than all the men she saw. Her pride blinded her eyes. Her parents grew worried. Her father, Efiometete, would sit up at night staring into the fire. "If she continues like this," he said one night to his wife, "our daughter will bring sorrow to our home." But still, Abasiama refused to listen. Far beyond Ekondo, in the mysterious spirit land, where shadows whisper and the dead wander, lived a skull, a lonely spirit without a body. He had no legs, no arms, no flesh, only a hollow head with empty eyes. One day, he overheard other spirits talking about a proud maiden from the human world who rejected every man because she wanted the most handsome husband alive. The skull grinned wickedly and said, "If it is beauty she wants, then beauty she shall have, and she will be mine." He began to visit other spirits, borrowing body parts from them. From one spirit, he took a fine head with smooth skin. From another, strong arms. From a third, a broad chest and tall legs. From yet another, a handsome face with charming eyes. Piece by piece, the skull built himself into the image of a perfect man, tall, handsome, and glowing like sunlight after rain. When he looked into a river and saw his reflection, he smiled. Even the water spirit gasped and said, "What a man!" That same week, the skull disguised as a handsome young man arrived at a condo market. Women selling vegetables forgot to shout their prices. Men carrying baskets stopped mid-step. The drummers fell silent. Everyone stared at him. This strange man whose beauty seemed not of this world. News spread through the town like wildfire. A strange man has come, more handsome than any man ever seen. When Abasiama heard this, her heart skipped. She quickly tied her finest wrapper, oiled her skin till it glistened, and wore her brightest coral beads. Her handmaidens followed her behind, whispering excitedly. The moment she reached the market and saw the stranger, her breath caught. His smile was warm, his voice deep and smooth. "Beautiful one," he said softly, "your eyes could make the moon jealous." Abasiama blushed. Her pride melted like butter in the sun. She invited him home at once. When they arrived, her parents welcomed him politely, but uneasily. Her father studied the stranger closely. "Young man," he asked, "where are your people from?" The skull smiled confidently. "I come from a land across the hills. My people are noble traders and warriors." Though her parents were unsure, Abasiama pleaded until they agreed to let them marry. 2 days later, the handsome stranger told her, "My wife, I must take you to my country. My people are waiting to meet you." Her mother cried, "Don't go, my daughter. We do not know this man's home." But Abasiama, headstrong and blinded by love, said, "Mother, I love him. I will go." And so, ignoring their tears, she followed the stranger into the forest. Days later, her father, worried sick, went to the village priest. The old man cast cowries and said, "Your daughter's husband is not human. He is a spirit. She is in grave danger." The family wept and mourned her as lost. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, Abasiama and her husband crossed into the spirit land. As soon as they entered, a voice shouted, "Give me back my legs!" The skull removed the legs. Another voice cried, "Return my arms!" Then another, "Give me my head!" One by one, all the borrowed parts disappeared until only a bare skull with empty eye sockets remained. Abasiama screamed in terror, "What are you? Where is my husband?" The skull grinned horridly and said,
"I am the one you married, Abasiama."
He forced her to follow him to his house, a dark cave at the edge of the spirit world. There, Abasiama met the skull's mother, an old spirit woman who crawled on the ground and spoke in a weak voice. Although she was afraid, Abasiama served the old woman kindly, fetching water, gathering firewood, and cooking food. The old woman, touched by her kindness, said one evening, "My child, you have been good to me, but soon the other spirits will smell your flesh and come to eat you. I will help you escape." Abasiama fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you, Mama. I promise, if I return home, I will always obey my parents." The old woman smiled and called the spider to braid Abasiama's hair beautifully. She gave her golden anklets and coral beads as gifts. Then she made a powerful juju and summoned the winds. A stormy wind came first, wild with thunder and lightning. "No," said the old woman, "you are too fierce." Then came a soft, gentle breeze. "Yes, this will carry her safely home." The breeze lifted Abasiama gently and carried her across forests, mountains, and rivers until she landed softly at her father's doorstep. When her parents saw her, they screamed with joy. Her mother fainted from happiness. Her father wept tears of relief. He spread soft animal skins from where she stood all the way to the house so that her feet would not touch the ground. The entire town rejoiced. There were drums, songs, and dancing for 8 days and nights. When the feast ended, Efiometete told the town chief what had happened. The chief shook his head and declared, "From today, no daughter of a Kondo shall marry a stranger from far away, for not all who smile are truly human." Later, Abasiama married a good and humble man from her town. She lived long, had many children, and never disobeyed again. And the elders still say, beauty may attract eyes, but humility and wisdom keep the heart safe.